Did you know that most people undervalue themselves without even realizing it? They brush off their achievements, doubt their ideas, and hold back from making decisions, all because of hidden patterns of thought. If you want to unlock your true potential, you need to break free from these habits that are silently holding you back. In this video, we're diving into 13 subtle signs that you might be undervaluing yourself and how pragmatism philosophy can help you take control, own your worth, and turn small shifts into powerful growth. Let's start uncovering the truth about what's really stopping you from seeing your full value. Number 1, you hesitate without certainty. Picture this. You're presented with an opportunity. Your heart races for a moment, excitement bubbling up as you imagine the possibilities. But then it hits, a wave of hesitation. What if this isn't the right move? What if I fail? What if... And before you know it, the moment has passed, the opportunity slipping through your fingers. Pragmatism philosophy teaches us that the only way to truly understand something is through action. Waiting for certainty? That's a trap, because certainty rarely exists. Think back to when you were a child. Remember the first time you jumped into a pool? You didn't know exactly what would happen. You just took the leap. Maybe you sank, maybe you flailed, but eventually you learned to swim. That childlike courage feels so distant now, doesn't it? Life seemed simpler back then, filled with endless trial and error and no fear of failure. But as we grow older, the stakes feel higher. We fear judgment, loss, or just making the wrong choice. Yet, pragmatism reminds us that life's most valuable lessons come not from thinking, but from doing. So, what would happen if you let go of the need to have all the answers before you start? How much could you discover if you stopped waiting for the perfect moment and acted instead? Number 2, you ignore your impact. You've been busy all day, checking off tasks, meeting deadlines, taking care of others. Yet, as the day winds down, there's this nagging thought: did I even accomplish anything today? It's such a common feeling, isn't it? But what if you're measuring your contributions all wrong? Pragmatism philosophy emphasizes the importance of outcomes, the ripple effects of our actions. Often those effects are invisible to us, but that doesn't mean they're not real. Think of a time someone thanked you for something you barely even remember doing. Maybe it was a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, or just showing up when it mattered. Those moments matter. They linger in ways we can't always see, creating connections, solutions, and even hope for others. But why do we dismiss these impacts? Is it because they don't come with a trophy, a promotion, or a grand applause? Reflect on those quiet moments when you've supported someone, solved a problem, or made someone's day brighter. Those moments are just as significant as the big achievements. Imagine if you started seeing yourself through the lens of those you've touched, rather than the standards you've set for yourself. What might change? Number 3, you avoid decisions from fear. We've all been there, standing at the edge of a decision, frozen by the weight of the unknown. Maybe it's about changing jobs, ending a relationship, or speaking up about something that doesn't sit right. The fear is real. It whispers, what if you regret this? And so you stand still, doing nothing. Pragmatism tells us that decisions are not about being right or wrong. They're about moving forward, about testing and learning. Think about a time you made a choice you were unsure about. Maybe it didn't go as planned. Maybe it even felt like a mistake. But didn't it teach you something? Didn't it shape who you are today? Avoiding decisions feels safe in the moment, but over time, it builds regret. The moments you didn't take the leap, the chances you let pass by, they linger in your memory far more than the wrong choices you made. What if the act of deciding, of moving forward, is the real victory? What if avoiding decisions is the only real mistake? Number 4, you downplay small wins. Let's take a moment to think about your last small win. Maybe you finished a project, got through a tough day, or even just made time for yourself amidst the chaos. Did you pause to celebrate it? Or did you brush it off, thinking, it's no big deal? Pragmatism philosophy tells us that progress is built on these small, incremental steps. They're not flashy, and they might not seem significant in the moment, but they add up. Think back to when you were a kid. Every little achievement was celebrated. Learning to tie your shoes, finishing a drawing, or even just getting through a school day. Somewhere along the way, as adults, we stopped celebrating ourselves. We started believing that only the big wins matter, a promotion, a house, a degree. But isn't life made up of countless small victories? The courage to get up and keep going, even when it's hard. The little choices that lead to big changes. Imagine if you gave yourself credit for those moments, for every step forward, no matter how small. What kind of momentum could that create? Number 5, you feel overwhelmed by challenges. Think about the last time you faced a big challenge. Maybe it was a work deadline that felt impossible, a personal goal you were struggling to achieve, or just keeping up with life's demands. That feeling of being overwhelmed can be paralyzing. It's like standing at the base of a mountain, looking up and wondering how you'll ever reach the top. Pragmatism philosophy encourages us to break these challenges into actionable steps. Instead of fixating on the entire mountain, focus on the next foothold. Reflect on a time when you overcame something difficult. Perhaps it was studying for exams, rebuilding after a setback, or managing responsibilities during a chaotic period. Did you conquer it all at once, or did you take it one step at a time? Yet, when we're in the thick of it, it's easy to feel like progress is too slow or insignificant. But isn't it true that every great achievement is built on countless small efforts? What if the act of persevering itself, day by day, step by step, is the real triumph? Number 6, you seek validation for your ideas. How often do you share an idea with others, only to second-guess yourself if their reaction isn't enthusiastic? It's natural to want validation. It feels good to have others affirm our thoughts, our plans, our dreams. But pragmatism reminds us that the true value of an idea lies in its application, not in how it's received by others. Think of the inventors, creators, and trailblazers throughout history. How many of them were met with skepticism or outright rejection? Yet they forged ahead, trusting in the process of trial and error. Now, think about your own life. Have you ever held back on pursuing something because someone else didn't get it? There's a fine line between seeking feedback and relying on external approval. When was the last time you acted on an idea simply because you believed in it? What if you stopped waiting for a green light from others and gave yourself permission to move forward? Number 7, you skip reflecting on efforts. We live in a fast-paced world where the focus is always on what's next task, next goal, next milestone. In the hustle, we often skip a crucial step, reflection. Pragmatism philosophy teaches that learning happens through experience, but that learning is deepened through reflection. Think about a project or a challenge you recently tackled. Did you take the time to assess what went well, what didn't, and what you could do differently next time, or did you immediately move on to the next thing? Reflection isn't about dwelling on mistakes, it's about extracting the lessons hidden within them. Imagine if you paused even briefly after every effort. What insights could you uncover? What patterns might emerge? And how much more intentional could your future actions become? Number 8, you strive for perfection over progress. Do you ever find yourself stuck, endlessly tweaking something because it's not perfect yet? Whether it's a work project, a personal goal, or even a simple decision, the pursuit of perfection can become a trap. Pragmatism philosophy reminds us that perfection is an illusion. Progress, however, is real and measurable. Think about the first time you tried something new. Was it perfect? Of course not. But was it a step forward? Absolutely. Reflect on a moment when your pursuit of perfection caused you to delay or even abandon something important. Was the fear of imperfection worth it? Progress doesn't require perfection. It requires action. Each imperfect step you take builds momentum, skill, and understanding. What if you shifted your focus from flawless execution to simply getting better day by day? Number 9, you rely too much on others. Think about a time you needed advice or support. Did you find yourself asking for someone else's input, maybe more than once? There's nothing wrong with seeking help. We're social beings after all, but sometimes we lean on others, not because we need their guidance, but because we doubt our own ability to decide or act. Pragmatism reminds us that growth comes from personal action, not over-reliance on external support. Reflect on a moment when you trusted yourself, even when others weren't sure of your path. It might have been daunting at first, but didn't it feel empowering to make your own way? Now think of the times you hesitated, waiting for someone else to guide you. How much time or opportunity might you have lost while waiting? It's not about shutting others out. It's about balancing input with self-trust. What would it look like to lean on your own judgment first, taking others' advice as a supplement rather than a necessity? Number 10, you stay silent in discussions. Have you ever been in a conversation or meeting where you had something to say but held back? Maybe you thought your point wasn't valid, or you feared being judged. Silence feels safe, but it can also mean undervaluing your unique perspective. Pragmatism teaches us that ideas gain value when shared and tested in the real world. Think back to a time when you finally spoke up and realized your contribution changed the direction of the conversation, or even sparked a new idea. It felt good, didn't it? Now think of the times you stayed quiet, only to hear someone else voice a similar thought. Did you wonder what might have happened if you'd spoken first? Your insights, shaped by your unique experiences, matter more than you think. What could happen if you started sharing them, even in the face of uncertainty? Number 11, you dismiss your own insights. How often have you had a gut feeling about something but brushed it off thinking, that can't be right, or I must be overthinking it? Pragmatism philosophy teaches us to value insights born from experience. They're often the result of patterns we've observed, even if we can't articulate them clearly. Think of a time when your intuition turned out to be spot on. Perhaps it was about a decision, a relationship, or a situation at work. That moment of realization, when you knew you'd been right all along, felt validating, didn't it? Now think of the times you ignored your gut and later regretted it. Your insights are more valuable than you give them credit for. What might change if you started listening to yourself more, trusting those inner nudges instead of dismissing them outright? Number 12, you settle for the status quo. Have you ever found yourself thinking, this is fine, even when deep down you know it isn't? Maybe it's about your job, your routine, or a relationship. It's easy to get comfortable with the familiar, even if it's not fulfilling. Pragmatism philosophy reminds us that progress often requires discomfort. Change happens when we challenge the status quo. Reflect on a moment when you broke out of your comfort zone. Perhaps you took a risk, made a bold decision, or embraced something entirely new. It was scary at first, but didn't it open doors you hadn't even imagined? Now think of the times you stayed where you were, not because it was right, but because it was easy. The status quo might feel safe, but is it really where you want to stay? What possibilities could you uncover if you dared to push past it? Number 13. You attribute success to luck. Have you ever achieved something, a goal, a promotion, or even a personal milestone, only to tell yourself, "I just got lucky." Maybe someone complimented you, but instead of accepting it, you brushed it off, thinking anyone could have done that. It's a common habit, isn't it? Downplaying success by attributing it to external factors like timing, circumstances, or pure chance. But pragmatism philosophy challenges this mindset, reminding us that outcomes are shaped by actions, not mere luck. Think back to a time when you accomplished something you're truly proud of. Was it really just luck? Or was it the result of effort, persistence, and decisions you made along the way? Sure, circumstances might have played a role, but didn't you position yourself to seize that opportunity? When you credit luck over your own contributions, you strip away the value of your efforts. Imagine if you reframed your successes, acknowledging the work you put in and the courage it took to act. What might happen if you started owning your achievements, recognizing them as proof of your capability rather than chance? Now that you've recognized the signs of undervaluing yourself, it's time to take action. These small shifts in mindset can lead to bigger, more confident steps in your life, propelling you toward your true potential. Remember, it's not about waiting for the perfect moment, it's about making the most of each one with the right perspective. If you've made it this far, drop a thumbs up. This shows you're part of the 0.01% who actually finish what they start. If you're serious about changing your life and embracing your full value, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more insights. Let's keep growing together, one step at a time.